Hey guys, John Lexi here, back with our blind playthrough of Shadowgate. So I went and I cleaned up the cat barf, fed them again. Hopefully Manny doesn't overeat again and barf again. So there you go. Alright, so last time we left off, we found that we have to smack the hammer into the mirror a couple times. And we found a door, and now the door is locked. So we're kind of in a position where we were, except maybe not worse, but maybe worse. So let's go down here. Is it going to tell us? No, just this last one. Okay. He talked about needing a bath, which is weird. Right? Now, carefully lower yourself through the opening in the floor. Can I use the water on myself? You slosh around in the ankle-deep water, careful not to make too much noise. You ever hear of Elrin's Stand? York interrupts. Now that was an epic poem, probably one of my favorites. The skull trails off. Okay. Take stock of yourself, concerned about the stabbing pains in your stomach and the spreading green pallor of your skin. However, the iron shield strapped across your arm gives you some measure of comfort. Guess we could drink the water, maybe. Upturn the bottle and guzzle down the water. Does that help? Submerge the empty bottle, fill it with water. Concerned about the stabbing pains, spreading green pallor. So here's the other thing, right? In the original, this was only good for this room because there was the rope. And when you said it, it's like, oh, you've learned a magic spell. And then you use the magic spell and it makes a rope go up here so that you can go up and down. But we don't need it anymore. So what is it now? Sewer. Right. Okay, so their meaning strangely familiar. The letters E, P, O, and R have been carved into the wall. I don't have a rope though. Strong metal bar appears to have come loose from a sewer grate. Yes, it did. Okay. Let's see. 6 rectangular shapes. Several lines point to shapes. Leads through the furnace into the castle beyond. And these mirrors require power to activate and will teleport to places thrown. So maybe that's what the gears and stuff are for, activating the mirrors. Through the furnace and into the castle beyond. Oh no, maybe that's the door that goes into the where the fire drake is. Through the mirror room. Don't remember. Okay, what about you? Dell's tail. Okay, I'm a bit lost for stuff. I'm annoyed. I'm gonna have to use another hint. Because I think there's still the skull missing from here. There's a gear that we need, which presumably connects to the waterfall. You might not even be able to... There might not be anything behind the waterfall at this point, right? Because originally it was the gems One went into where the cellar is. One went to... There was a door through the sewer that had the thing in the floor, and then once you got into Shadowgate Castle, it moved a bookshelf, right? So there might not be anything behind the waterfall. It looks like there is, though. But who knows? Damn it. Alright. Talk to me, Yorick. I hate it. Those tunnels look like they might lead somewhere useful. Try using something to pry out one of those grates. Well, did I not? Attempt to force the grate open, but the bars are firmly anchored in place. I swear to God. Oh. Did I totally forget that? I did, didn't I? I didn't use the bar on it. I tried using the spell. I'm such an asshole. Let's try opening this one too. Why not? Okay, bars are firmly anchored in place. Son of a bitch. Closed sewer, no. Peering into the darkness, you drop down the muck and crawl through the tight opening. So this is the... like the stone, like Lakmir's stone that got us into the castle in the first place, right? Mushrooms? He said something about mushrooms before. The stone den is damp and smells of copse and green foliage. As if a mirage, the far side of the cave shimmers and power emanates from a standing stone obelisk. Right. We were supposed to find... Seek my obelisk in the acolyte den below the sewers. Okay. Wizard's Den. I'm so annoyed. Like, so here I used one of the hints, and it's like, oh, you need a wizard's cage. Okay. Which we might get here. And then, you know, in the mirrors, it's like, oh, there's something hidden behind the mirror. So I'm like, well, let me just try bashing the mirror again with the hammer, and that's what did it. And then here... It's like, oh yeah, just try prying the bars loose. I'm like, I thought I did that already, but that's the annoying thing is like the hints that I've used, easily avoidable. Alright, so we have water, ankle deep water. Maybe that's what the sarcastic stuff was, right? Like, oh, you need a bath. It's like, so go to where there's water. Mushrooms, let's take a look at these. Mushroom has an earthy, fresh dirt smell to it. Can I take one? Should I eat it? You take the mushroom. Gulp down the mushroom, choking a bit on the acrid taste. It doesn't appear to kill me. Okay, well there's two left, so hopefully we didn't screw ourselves too badly. Drop the mushroom into your satchel, take the other one. Okay, what else? I assume the obelisk, anything else? Is that it? Surprised to find a lush subterranean den this deep into the mountain. The stone obelisk is nearly 10 hands high, embellished with strange glyphs and 3 deep notches. An inner hum emanates from its center, setting your teeth on edge. I see. This is probably what we use. Let's see. Focus your will on the stone obelisk. With a whisper word, your spell is unleashed. And it works. A strange apparition coalesces from within the obelisk, the ghostly figure of an old man cloaked in the shimmering veil. Cutscene?
You have done well, simple soldier. Now, listen if you have ears, since the shadows grow long and time fleet. Some 40 years past, an evil, the likes the world has not beheld, escaped its prison. Talimar, the Black, he of whom I have already spoken. This warlock lord brought forth his dark magics and conjurations, and unleashed his foul vassals, desecrating these sacred halls. Talimar has laid waste to the combined power of man. And what of the Circle of 12, the great wizards? They are no more. I am the last. Pity me not, boy. We were resolute in our judgment, but erred greatly. 'Twould have been better to put our brother to death, but mercy and folly prevailed. I know not Talimar's full plans, but have discovered enough to fill my heart with fear. And yet, hope remains, and it stands or falters with you. Fare thee well.
Is that it? Oh, okay. Let's see. Achievement unlocked. Wizard's Friend. Lakmir the Timeless vanishes, leaving behind the scroll, a glowing orb, and the words, "Fare thee well." Well, it's in purple. That means it's good. Congratulations, you've earned Wizard's Friend achievement. The clear orb has a silver sheen about it, is relatively light, and vibrates with a dormant, expectant power. Silver orb. You take the oh, that's cool. It actually puts it in your satchel. So the silver orb is one of the, well, in the original was one of the 3 pieces of the Staff of Ages. Scroll itself is quite old and extremely brittle. Gripping it with both hands, you carefully unroll the scroll. You read the words on the scroll aloud. 5 to find, 3 are won. 1 gives access the bladed sun, the silver orb to banish below, the staff of ages to vanquish the foe. Joining 2, the golden thorn, the last to invoke the platinum horn. Joining 2, the golden thorn. I mean, that wasn't exactly... 1 gives access to the bladed sun, silver orb to banish below, staff of ages to vanquish the foe. Joining 2. Yeah, it wasn't called the golden thorn, but it was called the something else, the blade or something. Cool. Take it. We're kind of in the same boat that we were, because we still don't have the cage, right? We still don't have the cage, we have the gear, we have the silver orb, which we weren't supposed to get till later. Which is, I mean, it's fine. But now what? Let's see. I guess let's try using it again. Ghostly figure of Lakmir the Timeless emerges from within the obelisk. His piercing eyes look at you. Carry on. You must face the perils of the castle and complete your quest. The figure slowly fades away, his words echoing throughout the chamber. Christ, am I gonna have to be like, hey, give me a hint? Alright. I need the key for the mirror. I don't know what I do with the mushrooms. I ate one. It didn't kill me, which is a shame, because now I have 2. I mean, you must need them for something, right? So if you... 2 more shots. Presumably the spells are not super useful. I think they're only like one, basically useful in at one point, right? So we could probably disregard that one. Metallic screech, the way to open. I don't think we've used this. We've used a gap to open the thing in the antechamber. And then we use this here. Items, right? Archive. Yep. Well, okay. Now what? Do you have any other tips? Right, so that takes the place of the other... Right, you'd put the red gem in the... or blue gem or whatever, and the stone moves away, and there's a wizard there, and he's like, 5 to find, and gives you the scroll with the... with a spell on it, I believe. Something like that. Humana? Was it the Humana spell, the one to turn invisible? I don't remember. Okay, let's take another look at the map. There's something here. Let's go back there, right? There's still this thing. Rune firmly attached to the wall, glowing with power. Belonged to one of the wizards of the circle. Now, I know I've used the spell on it before. Let's try using it again. Alright, so that did not work. We've used the pry bar on it. I know that much. Because that was my initial thought. And I think that's the only... Oh, hey, Manny. Now Manny's up here, too. So Jack's in my lap and Manny's right here. There he is. Is he going to lay on Jack and Jack's going to run away? That's what you need. Okay. Let's get another hint from Yorick for this room. There's got to be a way to get that thing off. I don't think I have that thing yet. Presumably a spell. Right, so maybe not. Maybe not. Because here he was like, oh yeah, try, you know, he didn't say anything about with the pour, right? Screech of metal. Metal pulling something. Let's try it. Circle of 12 might not be around anymore, but their elemental pets still are. Maybe one of them could help you get out of these caves. What does that even mean? Maybe one of them could help you get out of these caves. But we don't have the wizard's cage or whatever that we need. And this... Alright, give me a hint again for this room. And... Carving on the keystone is a circle within a shield. You think you recognize the name Mahal amongst the hard-to-decipher language. Which... When Mahal's tail lights the northern skies, shall you take the circle runes of water, fire, all-seeing eye, and place them with the great eagle that sits on the one tree. So Mahal's probably one of the other... Wait. Since it is the only means to capture and control the elementals, you must hide the silver orb beyond the waters of the sewer? So the silver orb lets me control the elementals. What happened to the wizard's cage? The silver orb to banish below. Okay. Look at silver orb. Okay. The silver orb might control the elementals. Is that what it's telling me? Alright, well. Whoa! A figure moves within the opening at the back of the grotto. You hear the unmistakable twang of a longbow, followed by the whistle of an arrow. Am I just gonna get killed? Ooh! With a shout, you raise the shield in the nick of time. The arrow shatters against your armament. If I was using the wooden shield, would it pierce through? That's unexpected. Iron shield, barely strapped, is thoroughly warped by the intense heat. You have serious doubts in its ability to protect you much longer. Okay, well. Okay. So... I'm thinking try and get the ice elemental first, and then freeze the cavern lake. Because it did mention... try and freeze the water, otherwise you'll get killed by whatever's underneath, right? So, alright. Creature made of ice hovers playfully on the far side of the room. What else is in here? Just the ice elemental, the giant spider thing, and... I guess we'll try using the silver orb on it. That's unexpected. Taking the silver orb from your satchel, you advance upon the ice elemental. You can barely hold on as a power from within the orb latches onto the singularity and pulls it inside. A frosty pattern immediately encases the orb. Layer of frosts coats the silver orb, forcing you to use your cloak to hold the artifact. The essence of an ice elemental is inside. Okay, well... I'm a little bit annoyed, because it was... The hint I got earlier was like, oh, a wizard's cage. And I'm like, okay, well, I expect an actual cage, not an orb. So, and then the whole... Same thing as before, the silver orb is required. Maybe... I bet we're gonna not even put the staff together. What are you doing? It might just be straight up the Staff of Ages. So it kind of messes with the whole negative transfer thing. That's real, right? Are you smelling? Use the silver orb on the water. As you release the ice elemental, you fumble with the silver orb, dropping it into the lake. Immediately, the still water freezes into a solid sheet of ice. Excellent work. All right. Well, now before, use the torch on the orb. It goes out because the orb is frozen. Like the orb freezes your torch. Torch goes out, you die. You have to unfreeze the lake itself. The orb floats to the surface, and then, you know, in this case, you probably use the torch on the orb, and it melts the ice above the hole, and then you can grab the orb. So we'll do that in a minute. First, we're going to move here. You make your way across the slippery ice toward the chained skeleton. The skeletal remains of some unfortunate soul are chained securely to the rock. Alright, so. Words of power. Even though you cannot read the inscription on the rock, you understand its intent to warn others away. The gauze-like fabric is wrapped around the skeleton's head like a blindfold. If anything were ever to be considered a skeleton key, it would be this. Let's take the key. Carefully remove the key from around the skeleton's neck. I assume this opens the door in behind the mirror. Let's see. Strong black chains are wrapped around the stone, binding the skeleton. Can we take the cloth? You untie the blindfold from the skeleton's head, place it in your pack. You survey the skeletal remains. You can't help but wonder what one must have done to deserve a fate like this. Can I open? Let's speak to it first. You softly say a prayer for the dead soul. When you are finished, Yorick pipes up. I would not shed a tear for someone who is clearly a thief and a pirate. Fair enough. Let's... You search the skeleton for anything interesting, just a pile of rotted bones. Yorick pipes up. Remember, keep an eye on those torches. My eyesight is bad enough as it is. Is it about to go out already? Or do I use it on the... Using the lit torch has no effect on the skeleton. Okay, let's check this. Excuse me. I mean, I think it's the whole thing, basically. Let's look at the manacle. A manacle made from black iron is secured around the skeleton's wrist. Manacle made... I don't know if I could take those. I do have the spell, right? Outfit. Oh, really? What do I use? This... What are you... Gauze-like blindfold is made from a lightweight material. Man, he's, like rubbing his face against my hand. And... let's see. And now he's... What are you doing, Manny? I love you. He's like reaching out and... Okay. I was trying to see if maybe it opened it. I don't know if we need the manacle. Do I use... Let's try using the bar on it. You attempt to lever the manacles open with the bar. Your fumbling attempts echo throughout the cavern. Okay. And presumably you can't use the key on them. Oh, there goes Jack. Do you want to get in my lap now, Manny? Maybe we can't do anything. Alright, let's go back. Alright. Within a large cavern, you find yourself on the shore of an underground lake. The water is frozen solid. Let's use the torch on the orb. The heat from the lit torch melts the ice around the silver orb, freeing it. The ancient artifact rises to the surface of the frozen lake. There we go. The water is frozen solid. Can't eat it. So now... I guess let's go get this other, the water elemental. Let's see. Use silver orb on. Slowly remove the silver orb and hold it out in front of you. A power from within the artifact immediately pulls the entity inside. Beads of water form on the surface of the orb. Now what do I do with it is the question. Silver orb is so slippery it is difficult to hold. The essence of a water elemental is inside. Well, okay. So now, presumably we're gonna go, okay, right, this way. I assume we're just gonna put out the fire drake stuff with this, right? Let's try using the key on the door. You insert the key and turn it, the door unlocks, and you throw away the key. Cool. Well, I can open it now, right? As you open the door, a wave of heat slams into you, making your eyes water. Intense wave of heat emanates from this doorway. Are you getting in my lap, Manny? Is that what we're gonna do? Okay. Let's see his butt. Oh, it's his back. There's the tail. What are we doing, Manny? You want to turn around? Okay. Okay. Okay, let's go through. Oh, you all right? You didn't barf, right? I mean, not from eating the second time? Here we go. Yep, a wave of heat washes over you as you move into the next room. An intense heat, surely from the earthly fire before you, fills this large room. Right, so... Oh, is it the fire that's glowing as well? It's really hard to tell, but I assume... An iron bridge thick enough... Is that the torch music? An iron bridge thick enough to withstand the intense heat spans the length of this furnace. About this. The door is charred and twisted from the heat in the room. Let's open it. There it is. As you head for the far door, a bright point of white light materializes above the bridge, pulling a cauldron of heat behind it. In a swirl of fire, the singularity explodes and fashions itself into a creature out of your worst nightmares. The beast hisses at you, blocking your way. Look at Fire Drake. It's a Fire Drake, a dragon from the nether regions of hell, made out of nothing more than fire and molten rock. Anticipating your attack, the Fire Drake leaps at you. Teeth, claws, and flames tear you into you, ripping you to shreds and cooking you at the same time. Well, I bet I'm delicious. I'm not disappointed.
What a pity that you have failed in your grand quest.
Indeed. So now the question is, do I use the water elemental on the Fire Drake or on the fire? I assume the fire. I see. Use. Quick glance at the torch tells you its pitched wrapping is lit. All right. Well, let's try using the silver orb on... Once released from the silver orb, the water elemental immediately extinguishes the flames in the fire pit before disappearing. The effect on the fire drake is disastrous. Unable to feed upon the magical flames, the dragon's power ebbs and the thing vanishes in a cloud of acrid smoke and feeble sparks. How does that go? Out of the dragon's den and into the furnace? Yorick asks brightly. I thought it put out the fire, but I guess not. The bubbling tar still fuels some low fires within the room. Now, no, it didn't say it was an actual portal. It just said going through it, through the furnace into the castle itself. The door sticks a little bit when you put your shoulder to it, it finally opens. More gears right there. I have a gear, as it turns out. Yorick, the skull, already mentioned that you can speak to him to get hints. He also has a tendency to mouth off every now and then. If you would like Yorick to keep his quips to a minimum, simply click on him in the select hit. Repeat the process if you want him to... Ooh, spelling errors right there. If you want him to pipe up again. I think we're at the torch thing. Veins of light-colored rock are pressed into the darker granite of the cave walls. Great. Furnace. Indeed. This has to... Right, this is the map for the caves. There's going to be a map for a castle, presumably. And there's a spot for our gear. Yeah. An ancient wrought iron grate rests securely within its carved stone frame. A large gear is connected to some mechanism in the ceiling via a long chain. Do I need a handle or something? Oh, is this something different? Right here? What is this? The length of metal bar appears to have broken off the iron grate. I guess let's take it. So we have 2 bars now. Maybe this one we can use to pry that Triforce looking thing off. What about these? A gear etched in strange runes is firmly connected to a mechanism that protrudes from the wall. Okay, so how do I... Grabbing the cold iron with both hands, you pull with all your might, hoping to lift the grate. Unfortunately, it will not budge. A gear etched in strange runes. What about this? What is this? There is an empty spot here within the stone. It seems a key part of this mechanism is missing. That was actually a pretty good thing, because you find this, and you're like, oh, it goes in where the levers are. But it doesn't, actually. There we go. You let out a sigh of relief as the gear slips into place with a click. Can I use it now? You attempt to turn the gear by hand, but the mechanism resists your efforts. While the gear sits within the mechanism, it appears to be loose. Let's see. Produces some pretty fireworks. I feel like this is probably correct, though. Do I use it on the... Aha! You let out a long breath, gather your will, and chant the spell. Debris falls from the rocks above as the iron gate responds, lifting with a shudder and a squeal and opening the way forward. Cool. Right, so what is this? Reaching upward, this ancient skeleton looks like it might have once been one of the inhabitants of the castle. Let's try speaking, I suppose. Mumble something to the skeleton. Yorick lights up. You shouldn't speak to dead things. Wait a moment. Go through the torn clothes of the dead figure. A rolled piece of parchment is all that catches your fancy. Well, then. Rolled up parchment is tied together with the coarse ring of fabric. Unroll the scroll, careful to not damage the parchment. Let's see. Yorick clears his throat. You know what? I could use some of that cottonwood tobacco. Now that was good stuff. He trails off dreamily. Tobacco like tobacco? Well, So he's a smoker. You read the elegant writing of the scroll. Brother Delden, please see to it that the circle chamber is prepared for the ritual. The circle dais was in need of some repair the last time we performed the initiate spell on it. We have a young candidate ready for initiation. Once the rite is performed on the platform, please bestow on him all authority and privilege commensurate with an acolyte of the order. Is signed with an archaic letter L. So is that Lakmir? Okay, well, I'm going to wait a little bit, see if they give me a warning. Firmly attached to this wall, this rune glows with power. Truly, this must have belonged to one of the wizards of the circle. So this guy is... Can I take it? Pull with all your might, but the rune will not budge an inch from the wall. Perhaps it's enchanted in some way, kind of like that other one. Let's try using the bar on this. Okay, well, I guess we will go forward then. Just past a rock archway, the passage winds to the right and into a larger opening beyond. Let's go. Here we go. This vast chamber is dominated by an intricately carved circle wreathed by 12 stone thrones. Power pulsates from mystical symbols set within the floor. This must be the initiation chamber. And another, presumably one of Lakmir's stones. I assume you can click on just about everything here in the room. Yeah. Yep. Oh, each of the chairs has a stone behind it. A dizzying number of strange runes, the vast majority you have never seen before, are carved into this circular dais. A hum of power emanates from its center, along with a ghostly whisper of word, a censure. The papyrus material of this scroll is extremely brittle. Well, unroll the scroll, careful not to damage it. While much of the scroll is faded, one part still stands out, and in the end the evil shall be thrice defeated and thrice returned. The first shall raise a warder to bar gates from opening. The second shall raise one of the carefree to travel the path of luck. The last shall raise a raven to remake what was undone. The letter is signed Gabriel and includes a glyph which shows 4 vertical lines of varying height. Raise a warder to bar the gates from opening. Second shall raise one of the carefree to travel the path of luck. Last shall raise a raven. I feel like this is probably going to be how you defeat him in the end in this one. Glyph showing 4 vertical lines of varying height. Series of runes and etchings decorate this stone throne. An undercurrent of power runs along its edges as well. This particular throne has been partially destroyed. Nevertheless, there's a sense of power about it. What about the stone? Stone obelisk has been smashed to pieces. What about this one? Something extremely powerful shattered this obelisk. Okay. Ravaged throne is ornately carved and decorated with runes. Many of the symbols on this chair are of avian design. Having been carved into the solid stone, a series of stairs lead upwards. At the top of the stairs, an ancient golden door stands closed. Oh. The golden door is not unlike other ancient objects in this dungeon, covered with etchings and runes. Oh, let's take the scroll. Although it is in disrepair, this throne stands out from the rest. The carvings within the stone are extremely deep. Cast a long gaze at the carvings on this throne, mesmerized as some of the runes begin to glow brilliantly. Adorned with strange carvings and glyphs, the stone obelisk emits an inner hum, setting your teeth on edge. Let's try using the spell on it. Eyes roll back into your head as you focus your will on the stone obelisk. You whisper the word Invoken and unleash the spell. The image of Lakmir materializes from within the obelisk. Okay, cool.
Listen carefully to my words, boy. There were many who followed the path of the One. Worthy were they, and I counted them as brothers and sisters. Now only I remain, he who is called Timeless. I have fought the good fight, sending many of Talimar's horde back to the depths that spawned them. And though my power is beyond that of mortal man, it is not without limit. But why do I appear before you thus? Am I a ghost? No. Surely I am more than that. This is naught but a projection. As my living being has sought shelter within my tower, it is here I continue my studies to aid you in what ways I can. I grow weary, but know this. I have glimpsed a vast power at the foundation of this castle. This power the Warlock Lord covets above all else.
The behemoth.
But he fears as well. A hero from the line of the ancients. Or so says Gabriel the Bard. Gird yourself against what is to come, simple soldier. And forsake me not. Follow the ways of the circle. Stray not from its path.
The image of Lakmir materializes from within the obelisk. Stray not from its path, he finishes, as his form fades away to nothing. So did that help? Aside from... did it, like, do anything? I don't think it gave me anything, but... right, he's giving you more story, basically. The whole thing of the Seed of Prophecy, last of a line of kings... Gabriel the Bard. The letter is signed Gabriel and includes a glyph. Right. Well, okay. So we have two rods now. Presumably they might do the same thing. Just like the sword and the dirk. They might both, you know... I don't know. I guess we'll try opening the door. The door opens with an eerie squeal that echoes throughout the chamber. And what is this? This vast chamber is dominated by an intricately carved circle wreathed by 12 stone thrones. Where... it showed the writing, but I don't... I mean, maybe it's the actual thing on the floor. Maybe this is the circle on the floor, is circle chamber. Let's see. I guess. Well, let's go up here. With a glance back at the stone dais, you mount the steps and quickly climb the stairs to whatever lay beyond. Not unlike the image in your dreams, the entrance to the inner keep of Castle Shadowgate stands before you, set with a heavy wooden drawbridge. Well, let us save right here. This looks awesome, by the way. We'll save and stop. So, okay, more gears. Once we lower the drawbridge, we could probably steal one of them. So, right, drawbridge, moat, well, rope. I wonder if we could take the rope back to that rope thing. Let's take a look at this stuff first, right? The muddy bottom of the moat looks far from inviting. The thick wooden planks of this drawbridge create a formidable barrier. A set of gears connected to heavy chains is attached to the castle's foundation. You wonder what purpose the mechanism might hold. It's to raise and lower the drawbridge, I imagine. The hemp rope appears to be surprisingly strong. You guess it is at least 20 hands long. Well, let's take it. And let's check the well. You pinch your nose in disgust. The stench of decay rising from this old stone well is nauseating. A rope hangs from the wooden crossbar. No Cyclops in here. Or maybe you lower the drawbridge and the Cyclops is inside. Okay, I thought this stuff might be something. Not unlike the image in your dreams, the entrance to the inner keep of Castle Shadowgate stands before you, set with a heavy wooden drawbridge. Okay, just real fast, let's use the well. It's gonna let me go in. Let's save real fast. Yes. Now, I believe the real thing is to... At least in the original, it was use the... maybe not. Well, yeah, let's try going in it. Okay. Grab hold of the rope and carefully lower yourself down the well. The ancient well is choked with roots and various detritus and debris that has accumulated over the years. Interesting. Aha! Castle. Okay, so yeah, we have a whole other map. What? If I can't select the caves, then why? Anyway. Okay, now we're gonna save here. What's all the... How much stuff is there? Yeah, I was thinking about these. The rope. Little skull. Oh, the gauntlet. Is that the gauntlet? Bucket. Alright. 309 turns. Yeah, we'll save. Should I save over the last one, though? Let's save over this one. Alright, so that is it for today. I'm really glad I kept that shield equipped. I really thought about switching to the wooden one. Just because I was like, you know, there's got to be a reason they give you a wooden shield as well. But who knows? Right? Maybe the wooden shield wouldn't have protected us, or maybe it would have. Either way. Any cats under me? Alright guys, well that is it for today. Thank you guys so much for your time and attention. I really do appreciate it. I really hope you guys are enjoying these episodes. Any questions, comments, concerns, good, bad, or indifferent, let me know. Like I've said before, I'm not always the fastest at responding. And YouTube is kind of sketchy on whether they... You go to look at your comments, and first off, they don't really notify you much anymore. They're getting rid of that notification thing. So you kind of have to go manually look at the comments, and it doesn't always load for whatever reason. It's silly. They try and upgrade it, and they just break. Everything just breaks because now it's like all Web 3.0 or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't care how the thing looks. They're trying to make like the back end all look like a mobile. That's probably what they're trying to do, so you can use it on your phone or whatever, but it's like, just make it a freaking standard form thing. I don't care. I just want it to work. It doesn't need to spend a minute to load because it's trying to run all these different, you know, JavaScripts or whatever. It's like, oh, it'll load 5 comments, and then you scroll down, and then it'll load more. It's like, I don't care. Load it in HTML. Load 50 comments. Anyway, I do try and respond to everybody, so if you do have any questions or comments, leave a message or leave a comment or whatever. It's fine. Same thing with likes, dislikes, whatever. If you feel strongly, leave a like or a dislike or a comment. What is your guys' unique positive moment for today? For me, right. I was watching these, I watch cat videos every once in a while, and there's one, like, kitten lady, I guess, and she had, like, a little baby kitten that she fostered, and was just kind of, like, feeding it and then weighing it, because I guess it's, like, super young. So that was really interesting to watch. It makes sense that they would weigh a kitten to make sure it's eating properly and stuff, so I figured, you just put food out for them, but this one, I think, is still, it couldn't even eat, like, solid food. It was still, like, formula or whatever. So, kind of neat. That's my unique positive moment. Hopefully your guys is just as good, if not better. Hopefully better, of course. And I hope to see you guys next time. Till then, guys, take care.